Welcome back to the Seeing Red podcast. I'm your host, Cade Frederickson. Along with me, my co-host, Rob Frederickson, and behind the camera lens, our producer, Stone Frederickson. Look, guys, if you're not already subscribed to the Seeing Red podcast here on YouTube, please do so. It's absolutely for free. Over 65% of you guys that are watching our videos are not subscribed, so please do so. And if you guys enjoyed this video and other episodes like this one, please make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button for more content. Pops, what's the mood in the room?
Oh, man. We got a lot of football to talk about. Obviously, the Cardinals-Raiders, preseason game number 2 for the Cardinals.
Let's go.
Number 1 for the Raiders, but two of my former teams.
Yeah.
Getting after it up there in Las Vegas.
You're fired up the whole time.
Yeah, so we got a lot to go over today. Obviously, we're going to break it down and talk about the offense, talk about the defense, talk about some individual performances and what we saw and what we can kind of take away going forward. So, look, there's a lot to cover with Arizona Cardinals. Most of it good, but obviously we're not gonna shy away from the bad, and we're gonna talk about it. But before we get into that, we want to just say we're really excited to be working with our sponsors. This money will go straight to improving our studio setup, the production. And we're gonna do everything we can to make this the best listening and viewing experience for you guys. And we're really appreciative to you for helping us level this up. So with that being said, I do want to say a quick word about our sponsor for this show, Desert King Windows. Headquartered here in Phoenix for over 25 years. They're family-owned and operated. The highest quality, energy-efficient doors and windows. Free, no pressure, in-home estimate. That's what you get with Desert King Windows. You give them a call at 602-603-KING or desertkingwindows.com and mention Seeing Red Podcast for an additional 5% off. That's Desert King Windows. We knock out the weather.
You know what, Pops? I was thinking of something. Where did you get your Ford Explorer from?
Tim Hovik, SanTan Ford.
And Stone, I believe you drive a Bronco Sport. Where'd you get that one from?
Tim Hovik, SanTan Ford.
Well, guys, I mean, clearly we're a SanTan Ford family. You guys got to check out their new kick-ass website, SanTanFord.com. They got all the specials. They got all the inventory. They're right on customer service. They're right on the price. And they're right on the corner of the SanTan 202 Freeway and Val Vista and Gilbert. Tim Hovik, SanTan Ford, baby, to the moon.
Yeah, every night when we go to bed, your mother says, I just love my Brooklyn bedding mattress. And you know what? I say it too, and I've said that for the last 15 years. Look, Brooklyn Bedding designs and assembles every mattress right here in their Arizona factory. Massive factory, 600,000 square feet. That's just massive. You can build a 747 in there. But no middleman, no gimmicks, just top-tier quality, honest pricing, and real American craftsmanship for a better night's sleep. 12 Valley locations or online at brooklynbedding.com. Brooklyn Bedding, designed in Arizona, built for America's dreams.
Pops, let's address the elephant in the room. Cardinals-Raiders game recap, our overall thoughts. Let's just dive right into it. You know what? I'm just getting some different vibes from the Arizona Cardinals starting offense and defense, okay? I am just loving what I'm seeing. I kind of want to start with the offense, and I kind of want to just dive over to the defense. But with the offense first, my goodness gracious, I'm just loving the front. I'm loving the receiving. I'm loving the quarterback play. I'm loving how this Mike LaFleur is orchestrating this band. It's giving me some good vibes. You can definitely see his experience kind of shining a little bit. Now, I know he's saving some stuff for the season, but I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing overall. With the defense, though, I've been on the hot seat with them. They've been on the hot seat with me the last couple episodes. They're still on my radar big time, but I want to hear more of your thoughts.
It was interesting. I was doing the radio broadcast for the Arizona Cardinals last night, and I was with Craig Grialou doing the halftime show, and off air, I mentioned to him, I said, I think maybe I could play quarterback for this Arizona Cardinals team. I'm joking, but it just looks to me like it's such a quarterback-friendly offense.
Big time.
I mean, the first incompletion by the Arizona Cardinals was with like 12 and a half minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah, we love that.
Right? Jacoby Brissett was 5 for 5. Gardner Minshew, 10 for 10 in the first half. The the ball was not on the floor.
Right.
There were no incompletions. So
and 0 interceptions, by the way.
0 interceptions. This offense right now in the preseason. Now, granted, keep things in context. It's preseason, and we don't want to get too far over our skis. But there's a lot to like with what Mike LaFleur is doing in this offense for the Arizona Cardinals. I love the mix up, the change up, and the run game, the play action pass that comes off of it, the drop back pass. Everything is just orchestrated perfectly, it seems, for the offense.
Yeah.
Now, defensively, I still see a lot of issues that are kind of rolling over from last year. You're really starting to see some of the same things that we saw in the back half of last season, where bad angles, poor tackling, mental errors. And you just those more than the physical errors, right? I can understand a missed tackle. You're going to miss tackles.
Sure,
everyone does.
Yeah.
You're going to get some pass interference calls. You're going to get beat on a pass route. You're going to miss a sack. I get that, but the mental mistakes, the missed assignments, those are the plays that will get you killed in this league.
Yeah.
If you screw up on just a little bit on your position in coverage, these quarterbacks are so good in this league, they will exploit that. They will see it, and they will exploit it. And you saw it against the Raiders. You saw it a few times. And in fact, that first drive, the Raiders got down into the red zone, and there was a play where on one side there was trips to one side, and 2 of the players were tight. So a tight end and a offset wide receiver, and then there's a wide receiver out wide, and the wide receiver out wide motioned in to kind of create a bunch formation, and they snapped the ball, and it was as if the Arizona Cardinals hadn't thought of that or pre-thought of that and communicated. There was no communication. There was literally 3 defenders covering the first crosser, the shallow inside crosser, and Mayer, the tight end, was in the flat for a wide open touchdown.
Yeah.
Nobody even near him. And that was with Arizona Cardinals starters.
Right.
Mac Wilson and Will Johnson was out there, part of it. Murphy Bunting was a part of it. And like 3 of them were covering the same guy. You can't have those kind of mistakes. And, okay, they happened in the preseason.
Yeah.
We'll correct it. We'll get better. But you just, at this point in the game, at this point in training camp, you expect the defense to be a little further along. And
I mean, on those notes, because those are very valid, right? Especially from the fan experience. I got some bones to pick, positive and negative, or some bullish, bearish picks, if you will, with kind of how the game transpired. I think just starting out with getting the negatives out of the way, and to go off what you were just saying, it's the defense. I mean, the starting defense looking the way they looked, and the defensive line. I know Walter Nolan got a sack, great, but like, it's a little bit of not a red flag, but it's alerting. It gets me nervous. And if it's looking like that versus starting Raiders offense, I mean, oh my gosh, we got the Rams twice a year, right, with McVay and Stafford. What is that going to be like? We got Seattle, Super Bowl champs. We got them twice. This just kind of gets me in a red alert type state, and I'm not really too comfortable. Now, with the positive sides, it's all on the offense because, like I said in the beginning of the episode, I'm loving the way LaFleur's just being a general with this offense. I mean, specifically the quarterback room, we went over that already, but 2 players instantly that keep reoccurring in positive ways with me, it's Bam Knight and it's Jalen Brooks. Jalen Brooks, when the ball is thrown to him, he catches it. He makes plays. He's out there to play and to be a part of this organization. It gets me fired up because I love to see a great receiver, obviously other than someone like Michael Wilson, but I'm Team Bam Knight. I'm a Bam Bam guy. When he was put in after the starting guys, Algier and Love, got out of there, I mean, he again provided more and more. And this offensive line provided that for Bam. I think the offensive line can't go unnoticed.
Yeah, talking about Jalen Brooks, he was 6 receptions for 52 yards. He had a touchdown. Every time this guy gets on the football field, he's getting a first down, it seems like. Every ball that's thrown to him is caught. And he's getting first downs. He's moving the chains. He's doing everything that's asked of him. I don't know, it's going to be a tough wide receiver room to narrow down and to formulate a final roster. Let's just say, assuming they keep 6 wide receivers, I don't see a scenario where Jalen Brooks is not a part of that.
Agreed.
And Reggie Virgil, he continues to impress. He had a good game. He continues to. That one-handed grab.
Oh, fired me up.
It's just amazing. So I'm impressed with him as a rookie doing what he's doing. So it's going to make that decision for the front office in terms of what receivers they ultimately keep on the 53-man roster. It's going to make that decision that much harder because you're going to have to let go, some pretty decent players. I'm looking at this wide receiver room, and obviously you're going to have Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Kendrick Bourne. Those are your core 3.
Right.
But a guy like Xavier Weaver, he might be on the chopping block. Devin Duvernay.
Mm-hmm.
I know they like him for the return game, but I haven't seen a ton from him in the preseason. And then there's some other guys, but Simi Fehoko, all he does is make touchdown catches. He's a big-bodied receiver. He can go up and really get the ball. That's a huge asset. And what he does on special teams, you got to factor that in when you're talking about the kind of the back half of the wide receiver room. You got to factor in what they're doing on special teams, and Simi Fehoko, he really does a good job. So yeah, I'm bullish, really bullish. Back to your point on Jalen Brooks. Let's talk about Jeremiah Love. How can you not be bullish about him? Look, going into this game, I'm not afraid to say it. I was pissed off because Carson Beck was not playing.
Oh, 100%.
And in my head, I'm like, are you kidding me? I haven't heard a peep about this all week. And now all of a sudden he's got some phantom rib injury. It's probably not a phantom injury. It's probably, I'm guessing it's legitimate. Sure. But he was well enough to be throwing no-look passes in practice, and can you imagine the torque that puts on your torso and your mid and your rib section? He's good enough to throw those, but anyway, they decided not to play him, and so I was a little perturbed about that, a little upset about that, because I really wanted to see a kind of a reenactment of the national championship game with Mendoza and Beck out there, but. I gotta say, seeing Jeremiah Love and seeing just a glimmer, just a glimpse of what he's capable of, it kind of made me feel better about Carson Beck not playing.
All right, guys, let me introduce a new segment called Stone Cold Locks. Now, this segment is brought to you by our guys over at Desert King Windows. We knock out the weather. Stone, what you got for us?
Gentlemen, this is going to be a new segment, Stone Cold Locks. This is going to be a prediction segment, has nothing to do with gambling. And we're going to be doing this all season long. We're going to be keeping track of our picks, of our predictions. And then at the end of the season, we're going to see who wins and who gets the Freddie bragging rights. My lock, I'm going to go first, is that Mike LaFleur's offense finishes top 15 by the end of the year.
Talk to him.
Now, a lot of people may say, don't get too ahead of yourselves. I'm going to do exactly that.
Go there, baby.
Because this is a confident offense. This was an offense that was balanced. We have a run-first offense. We have top 3 star running backs. We got a new line. We got heavy use of tight ends for blocking. But not only that, we got great wide receiver options. We got Wilson, phenomenal in that last game. We got Marv, who was catching those dimes. We got Bourne, McBride, obviously. And like you guys mentioned, we have Brooks, too. A lot of different options there. But not only that, I don't care what people say nowadays. From what I've seen these last 2 games, this is a solid QB room. We've already talked about it. But we went 34 for 40, 334 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 receptions with our top 3 QBs. That's Brissett, that's Beck, and that's Gardner Minshew. So this is a great offense. I was excited, especially that first drive. Oh boy, I was excited to see the starting offense out there on the field. I'm ready for football season. I'm ready to see all of these starters thrive, especially that Brissett throw in the touchdown, right over the defender, leaning back. What a dime to Marvin Harrison. I'm excited for this offense. That's going to be my lock. Pops, I'm going to head over to you.
Okay, before I give mine, I just got a quick rebuttal question. How many wins does that translate into if the Cardinals have a top 15 offense?
Well, so I don't think that the wins are going to come from the offense, shockingly enough. I think they're going to come from the defense. I think the one of the other reasons why the offense is going to put up numbers is because I think our defense is going to be lacking, and our offense is going to have to put up some points. How many wins is that going to translate to?
Yeah.
I mean, I think our personal ceiling is around 8, but I think our bottom is like 2 or 3. And so
I don't hate that.
So again, if we have a top 15 offense, how many wins does that mean for the Arizona Cardinals?
Straights, I got one lock here. My lock is
I know.
Mike
I asked you a rebuttal.
Well, I mean,
This is how we do it. This is podcasting.
Well, he said 8 wins. Go with 8 wins.
He said ceiling.
but I don't have a win prediction, and that ain't going to be my lock. I mean, my lock is top 15 offense by the end of the year.
Okay. Well, maybe I could just get a slight opening in the door of a lock. It doesn't have to be a lock, but okay, I get it. Let me give you my stone cold lock, and that is John Gaines will start before week 8. We completely breezed through that opening and missed talking about Chase Bisontis and the devastating, what we think at this time of this recording, devastating injury to Chase Bisontis in that game. And, it's upsetting to me because I felt like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, that right guard position was a lock. It was sewn up. Isaiah Adams had it locked. And then we played in the Hall of Fame game, and we saw what Chase Bisontis was really capable of. He's a guy, I think, that plays in 5th gear. And when he's in practice, it's in 3rd gear. And he's not as good in 3rd gear. And I think he's kind of a gamer. He's a gamer. And you saw in the game against the Raiders, in that first half, he was balling. He was bruising dudes, and he was playing next to John Gaines, who's playing center. And John Gaines is a guy that is versatile. He can play either guard position and center. I just think, whether it's via injury or inconsistent play, I think John Gaines, because he's a dog, man. You know I've been talking high about him for a while.
Big time.
I think he will find his way into the starting lineup by week 8.
Okay, I guess it's my turn now.
Yeah, it is.
I saved the best for last, Straights. Okay. My stone cold lock, as of right now, I'm going to come out and say it, Jeremiah Love is going to be Rookie of the Year. Okay?
Okay.
Now, don't let the little ankle thing scare you, okay? Because he's going to bounce right back to it. But this guy's giving me some David Johnson vibes right above your shoulder there, Straights. I'm loving the way this guy is running out in space. He's a big body running up against these secondaries that you're seeing, especially the starting secondary with the Raiders. You're seeing them against starters, okay? I love the way Jeremiah Love plays, and I know he's got the hand, so he can be versatile in the passing game as well. I think Mike LaFleur's got a lot of things up his sleeve for Mr. Love.
Okay. Speaking of love, you know what I love?
What do you love?
I love to sleep.
I know you do.
Hey, sleep is when the body recovers. I've had more surgeries than you've had birthdays, Cade. And you know what? Nothing gets me recharged and ready for the day more than my Aurora Lux cooling mattress from Brooklyn Bedding. Brooklyn Bedding is one of the few mattress brands endorsed by the American Chiropractic Association for spinal alignment and back health. Brooklyn Bedding designs and assembles every mattress right here in their Arizona factory. They have 12 Valley locations, and they're also online at brooklynbedding.com. That's Brooklyn Bedding, designed in Arizona and built for America's dreams.
You know what I hate?
What do you hate?
I hate the heat.
No, I do too.
Yeah. Well, if the heat outside has your electricity bill looking like a second mortgage, it might be your outdated and inefficient doors and windows, if you didn't know. Check out our guys at Desert King Windows for a free no-pressure in-home estimate. You know they're running the Door Days event, Straights. It's 30% off custom front doors and security doors. Mention Seeing Red Podcast for an additional 5% off. Call Desert King Windows at 602-603-KING or DesertKingWindows.com. Desert King Windows, we knock out the weather.
Stone, where'd you say you got your Bronco Sport again?
Tim Hovik, SanTan Ford.
Yeah, Tim Hovik, SanTan Ford is where I got my Explorer. Actually, I've bought 5 vehicles from Tim Hovik, SanTan Ford. Listen, you got to check this out. They got this unbelievable website now. It's completely redone. SanTanFord.com. You can get all the specials, all the inventories on there. They're right on the customer service. They're right on the price. And they're right on the corner of the Santan 202 Freeway in Val Vista in Gilbert. Tim Hovik, SanTan Ford.
All right. Well, I mean, I think now it's a better time than ever. It's time for a temp check. Okay.
Okay.
Pops. And I would like to hear Stone's as well. Stone's here. Who's on the hot seat after week 2 preseason game?
Okay, I got a couple.
Okay.
Darius Robinson. Mm-hmm. Especially that long run that was given up by the Arizona Cardinals defense. Darius Robinson tried to do a swim move.
I saw that.
Against a guard, and it basically was an open invitation to pummel me in the chest across the entire line of scrimmage. I mean, that was an enormous hole, and you just can't have that at this stage of the game. This has got to be a big year for Darius Robinson. The Cardinals, the team needs him. The defense needs him. And just haven't seen it through 2 games. And this is the first game that he's played. But also, I got to say, Chad Ryland.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Man,
Thank you.
mean, extra point, he doings it off of the goalpost. Luckily, it went in. But then you miss a 33-yarder. I'm sorry, that's inexcusable. You know how I feel about kickers. I'm not the biggest fan, but you just can't have that. Kickers have to be a position group that you rely on. They don't have anything to do all day but go over into the corner and kick. I mean, come on. I think those two are really on the hot seat. How about you?
Well, I want to kick it to Stone because I know Stone's got a bone to pick.
Okay, what do you got?
Ryland.
It was Chad Ryland.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, I've always been on I've always been resentful toward him ever since that Seahawks game last year.
Yes.
Not kicking it past the 25-yard line when it was within a minute left.
Yeah.
Let's go into OT. You give Sam Darnold and the Seahawks offense the ball on the 40. Anyway, that's in the past. But like you said, Pops, you didn't get off the upright in a PAT. That in a regular season, that could be the game there.
Yep.
You drilled a 56, 54-yarder. All right, you drilled that barely. But, I mean, and the missed field goal too.
Chip shot.
I mean, we have to nail that down. You got one job. You got to make those field goals. You got to get those points on the board, especially if my take's going to hold. Mike LaFleur's top 15.
Yeah,
you got to play your role here.
How about you, Cade?
I mean, my hot seat, and I'm going to keep bashing on him a little bit until he can show up. It's got to be our defensive coordinator, Nick Rollis, okay? We're getting to the point where he's going to mess around and lose a job. He might. I mean, it's preseason. You're going against starters. We need to see what the defense is looking like, and we can't seem to figure it out. Now, your schematics are all over the place, or you're not coaching up the position coaches as needed, or practice isn't run the way it should be ran. There's something happening in here that I'm disliking a lot, and it doesn't seem like it's just as prepared as the offense, and that's very concerning. Nick Rollis is on the hot seat.
I'm going to add an idea or a thought to that.
Sprinkle.
A hot take. Look, Mike LaFleur has already done a masterful job with this offense. It's preseason, granted, but Carson Beck not playing, you'd think, oh no, now what's going to happen? Well, Jacoby Brissett goes 5 for 5. Gardner Minshew was 10 for 10. I mean, these guys just came in and picked up where Carson Beck left off. And so you have to feel really good about the offense for the Arizona Cardinals. My thought is, he comes from that Shanahan and McVay tree. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, prolific offenses in their own right. And Mike LaFleur he's looking like he's an offensive guru. He's an offensive genius, perhaps. I'd like to see him spend more time and delegate those offensive responsibilities for the next 2 weeks in the preseason to Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator, and Matt Schaub.
Okay.
And spend a lot of time with the defense and Nick Rollis, because you've been in the NFC West. You've been with the 49ers. You've been with the Rams. You've prepared against Nick Rollis defenses. You know how to take advantage of his defenses. Share that wealth, share that knowledge with Nick Rollis, and come up with some solutions here. And I'm sure to some extent they are, but I'd love to see his focus completely shift. Put that head coach hat back on. Take off the offensive coordinator hat. Give it to your actual offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, and really focus your attention and your time and your effort on Nick Rollis and the defense. And let's get this thing right. We don't necessarily have to get rid of Nick Rollis, but I think he's a good coach, but let's help him. And I think Mike LaFleur is that capable to do something like that.
I absolutely love that take.
Yeah.
I love that. No, that's there's so much facts there. I mean, why not? To your point, that I got to reiterate because how important that was. LaFleur's played against Nick Rollis' defense before. So he knows the gaps, he knows what he can improve on, he knows the offenses we're going to be playing against it this year and in the future.
Well, he knows the weak points. He knows how to stress that defense, how to take advantage of that defense. Let's work together on solutions on how to eliminate those things and how to address it. So, and I'm sure that he does spend time with Nick Rollis, obviously in game plan meetings, but I'd love to see him spend a lot more time going forward. Anyway, let's get to 4 downs. Cade, given the injury to Chase Bisontis, should he have even been out there in the second half?
Absolutely not. No, not especially a guy that may not be quote unquote the starting right guard, but he was in heavy competition at that position. It's not worth it. The juice ain't worth the squeeze, I like to say there. So it's just unfortunate. It's football. It happens, but no, he shouldn't have been out there.
Yeah, it's always easy to look back in hindsight and say, he shouldn't have been out there. But
right.
I do understand what Mike LaFleur is doing. I quite honestly, I didn't expect to see Jeremiah Love playing deep into the second quarter like he did, and I really expected him to play a couple series and that would be it. So and in some respects it's refreshing to see some of these starters and players that are going to have an active role in the team, both offensively and defensively, out there into the third quarter. And I think this next game you are going to see the starters maybe coming out of halftime and getting a series or two into the second half.
Well, let's address something else that may or may not be talked about a lot. What do you think? What's up with Josh Sweat?
Oh, it is talked about a lot. This one's a head scratcher. This one's weird. I mean, he's on didn't participate all off season. Okay, he does his own deal. All right, cool. So he missed OTAs, and he was at mandatory minicamp, but he wasn't participating. Okay, whatever, cool. And the narrative was, this is just what he does. This is what Josh does. This is how he prepares in the offseason. He does his own thing. Okay, cool. Well, then we get to training camp, and all of a sudden he's on PUP. He's on the PUP list, and he can't participate. And all of this is with the backdrop of there's trade rumors going on, and he's unhappy, and he wants a trade, and I guess a lot of it stems from his tightness, his tight relationship with Jonathan Gannon. But, if you truly do want to trade, wouldn't you communicate that?
Right.
It's like he's not saying anything, and both sides are being a little nondescript and not really clear on what's going on. They say we don't want to trade him, but yet they are listening to discussions allegedly from other teams. So it's all a mystery to me, and unfortunately, without him, without Josh Sweat, we really have no pass rush.
Yeah, it's a mystery to me too, because you got the money. He's one of the highest paying defensive players that we have on the Arizona Cardinals. You got your money, right? Isn't that the whole point of being an NFL player, is to make sure that you have some good job security, some good money coming in? I get you want to play with your coach. Okay, it ain't high school. Move on, all right? And I'm over it. You got your money, right? Let's go win some football games, but let's play in there. Hey, Arizona's a great place to live in. You want to go live in Green Bay? Go ahead. But other than the whole relationship thing, I'm with you. I don't know who's going to be on the other side of Sweat, and it's a little bit concerning. He's in the shadows. I don't like it. I don't love it, but I don't know what else to add to it.
Well, and he had his most productive year in last year in Nick Rollis's defense. So, again, it's a head scratcher. They got to get it resolved one way or the other, but you can't have this kind of leaching into the regular season. All right. Cade, how do you see the quarterback position playing time working out versus the Cowboys?
Well, it's interesting. Okay, so let's say Carson Beck's ready to go. Okay, so I think it's going to be very similar to how it was against the Raiders. I think Brissett's going to go in, okay, and then instead of Minch, bam, here comes Beck. Just because I think it's the perfect little smooth little transition to get back into play. We get to see what we missed out against the Raiders, and Beck can take majority of those snaps, and then when you get enough of them, you pull them and you put Minch in. That's how I have the quarterback order just going into the season, in my opinion. It's going to be Brissett, Beck, then Minch, because Beck, with the third-round draft pick, we got to play him at some point. He's shown that he can play football. Let's see, but we have to see him against number one defenses at some point, and against Dallas we can. So Brissett, then Beck, then Minch.
Yeah, I think Brissett is going to play into the second quarter. I think if he's a starter, and he is a starter, he needs to get some reps.
Yep.
He didn't get many reps against the Raiders, so he certainly needs to play into the second quarter. He might even play to halftime. And then I think you're right. I think Beck plays at least a quarter, maybe 2 quarters. Maybe he plays the second and the third quarter. And then, it's either Minch or Slovis from there.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Dallas, do you got any surprise performance for this coming week?
It's a good question. I would be shocked if one of these quarterbacks, whether it be Jacoby or Beck or even Minshew, if he gets in, if they struggle against the Cowboys. I just think this offense is on a steamroll path to success in this preseason, and that would surprise me. As far as individual production and play, Corey Kiner has really, he kind of emerged.
Yeah.
In that Raiders game.
Yeah.
And I think he's another guy. This is a deep running back room. He's another guy that I think could really surprise some people and push this team to make some serious decisions.
Now, I know I've been throwing out some negativity this episode, but I also have a lot of optimism, okay? I think maybe a little surprise performance this week, maybe coming out of Darius Robinson. I want to see him get coached up, and let's apply it. Let's apply pressure. Let's be physical, and let's get after the quarterback. I'm really hoping that he can make that turn, because you're right. That single play alone, right, where he gets bodied on the line of scrimmage and it gets for a deep run, that's going to sit with you for a little bit, but then you got to go over that. You got to coach yourself back up. The coaches got to help out too. And let's get back on our high horse and let's go perform.
Yeah, I mean, several episodes we talked about it, and that entire draft class, that 2024 draft class, has really got to step up. This is the year for them to step up. Marvin Harrison Jr. has had a really good training camp. He made a nice touchdown grab against the Raiders in that last preseason game. So, it's time for D-Rob to step up.
If you guys aren't subscribed to the Seeing Red podcast here on YouTube, please do so. It's absolutely for free. Over 12% of you guys are watching our videos are not subscribed, so make sure you guys do that. It's absolutely for free. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button, and we'll see you in the next one.